An old man had completely lost his mind. He aimed his rifle at the young man standing across from him. But instead of pulling the trigger right away, he ordered the young man to take off all his clothes. At first, the young man thought the old man was joking.
Hey, okay.
But within seconds, his legs turned weak with fear. When he was down to nothing but his underwear, the old man pointed into the distance and gave him only 3 minutes. If he was caught trying to escape, he would be shot on the spot. But in a scorching desert where the temperature was nearly 50 degrees Celsius, where could he possibly run? Just as expected, after only a few steps, the blazing sun left him dizzy and exhausted. He didn't want to be roasted alive under the sun. To survive, he had no choice but to keep walking despite the unbearable heat while the old man drove behind him, hunting him down. The reason was simple. The young man had accidentally witnessed the old man committing murder. He tried to call the police, so the desperate killer stripped him naked and abandoned him in the desert, hoping the heat would finish him off. What the old man didn't realize was that although the young man looked like he was wandering aimlessly, every step had a purpose. The moment he spotted power pole number 277, an idea flashed through his mind. Thanks to memories from childhood, he remembered that his grandfather had once built a small shelter nearby. There had to be something inside that could save his life. He immediately ran toward the location he remembered. The old man sensed that something wasn't right, but still believed the young man was simply struggling to survive. What he never expected was that in the blink of an eye, the young man disappeared into a hidden, deep pit. Seeing him vanish, the old man became alert and rushed toward the pit. Before long, the young man heard the roar of the old man's vehicle. While desperately trying to escape, he got lucky and found the small gourd his grandfather had left behind before he died. He quickly moved the rocks blocking the entrance and crawled into the cave. But the lingering smoke gave away his hiding place. Soon the old man stood at the entrance with a shotgun, convinced that the young man would eventually run out of air and crawl back out. What he didn't know was that this cave held a much bigger secret. This was the hidden cave left behind by Jack's grandfather. By now, Jack was dying of thirst. He desperately searched for water, but couldn't find even a single drop. Then he noticed a pair of shoes his grandfather had left on the ground. Without hesitation, he put them on. Just a few minutes later, footsteps echoed from the entrance. John had caught up with him. Terrified, Jack quickly hid inside a small chamber behind the wall. But when he closed the door, John noticed him. Strangely, John pretended not to. Instead, he lit a stick of dynamite nearby, picked up the explosive box, and ran out of the cave. Hearing the commotion, Jack rushed outside and barely escaped a split second before the dynamite exploded. A deafening blast followed, and his grandfather's cave collapsed completely. Standing outside, John waited for him. Jack instantly realized he had lost. But to his surprise, after seeing Jack covered in dirt and barely alive, John decided to give him another chance. He allowed Jack to keep the shoes and continue walking just to see how long he could survive in the vast desert. Jack didn't dare stop for even a moment and continued forward with trembling legs. What John didn't know was that Jack had hidden his grandfather's map inside his underwear. Following the map, Jack soon reached another cave. Inside, he found nothing except 2 old, worn-out sofas. Without wasting time, he tore the foam out of the sofas, wrapped it around his injured feet, and climbed upward through a narrow crack in the rocks. The moment John saw Jack reach the mountaintop, he immediately drove after him. At that critical moment, Jack discovered another marked location on the map. After digging through the dirt, he uncovered a small box. Inside were several steel balls and a slingshot. Without thinking twice, he took them with him. Jack hurried toward the next marked location. To his surprise, he found a buried bucket of water. Overjoyed, he pulled it from the ground and began drinking desperately. But just as he was quenching his thirst, a gunshot rang out. The bullet smashed the bucket, sending it flying. A second shot destroyed the remaining water completely. Watching the precious water spill into the sand, Jack was devastated. He knew John would never let him escape, so he forced himself to keep moving despite the pain from his injuries. But the relentless heat became too much. Within moments, his strength gave out, and he collapsed onto the ground. Seeing Jack lying there completely motionless, John finally lost all hope. He slowly raised his rifle and aimed it directly at him.